Greetings, Deep Dive Podcast listeners. This is your boy, Sam Oram, coming at you with another episode of the Deep Dive Podcast. Man, I'm excited again to be here with you another week, another Thursday evening, and really just sharing some messages of empowerment, some things that can benefit all of us as we move forward to close out this year, going into a new year. We're just excited about so many things. Even in the midst of so much adversity, we're still excited to be moving forward and to sharing our message of empowerment and entertainment all over the world. As always, I'd like to thank all of our listeners, no matter where you're tuning in from, anywhere in the world. I really appreciate your support. I say this every week, and I truly mean this that, without you, there would be no me. There would be no Deep Dive Podcast. So I certainly appreciate all of your support, all of your love. I continue to ask that you do follow, support, share the podcast, like it, download it, share it to other people because, again, it's not just to entertain you, but it is truly a message of empowerment that we want to share with so many people around the world. So I thank you for that. I thank you for all of the new listeners. Every week we garner a lot of new listeners to the podcast. So I'm excited about that as well. And of course, we have what I call my old heads who've been here since day one with the Deep Dive Podcast. Again, without you, there would be no me. So I certainly thank you and I appreciate everything that you're doing. I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about some things that I've been hearing over and over and over and over again from so many different people. And it is the notion that so many people are feeling stuck with their life or stuck with their business or career, relationship, whatever it may be. They're just starting to feel stuck. And I wanted to really just kind of hone in on a few things in terms of answering the question, why do I feel stuck? Why is it that you feel stuck? More importantly, for this particular episode, what do you need to do to become unstuck, if you will? I don't even know if that's a word, but what do you need to do to not feel so stuck? There are a lot of things that you can do that you can help yourself to not feel stuck or in a rut or just kind of, spinning your wheels on that hamster wheel, if you will. There are a lot of things that you can do. And I want to just share a few things with you, some things that I've learned personally or through studies or whatever the case may be. But I think they may be able to help you in terms of, getting unstuck or moving beyond this particular place in your life, especially again, as you go into a new year. Everyone make resolutions or just decide to make some changes or press the reset button on their lives. This will be a perfect time for you to understand why you're feeling stuck, but then more so, what do you need to do to feel unstuck? You'll hear me say that word a lot on this episode. Again, I don't know if unstuck is a word or not, but it is what it is. I think one of the first things you want to be able to do, though, is identify what you truly want. I cannot tell you how many times I ask people a question when, some of you know I do executive coaching. So I'll ask people a question in terms of what is it that they want. And you'll be amazed at how many times people just cannot even describe what it is that they want. And if you cannot articulate or describe what it is that you want in very specific and clear details, then it's not possible to get it. I mean, I don't see a path forward if you don't understand or realize what it is that you even want. So the first thing you want to do is just specifically identify what it is that you want. Some people may say, well, I want to be wealthy. Okay, well, who doesn't want to be wealthy? So what does that mean? You got to identify what does that mean for you, wealthy? As a matter of fact, some people's version of wealth may not be equivalent to someone else's version of wealth. So what does being wealthy mean to you? Or what does being comfortable mean to you? Or saved mean to you? Or free mean to you? What does that mean to you? Everybody has their unique identifiers in terms of what certain things are as it relates to them. Some people, if they can make five figures per month, they're good. All the bills are paid. They have a nice house, a nice car, whatever it may be, they may be good. Other people may need six figures to feel comfortable per month, seven figures to feel comfortable per month. What is it that is your barometer? Identify what you truly want, not what you think you want, not what you want because you see somebody else have it in social media and all of this kind of stuff, right? What is it that you truly want? What is that something in your life that would make you feel like you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing? When you start to notice these feelings of being stuck, you got to give yourself an opportunity just to clarify what you want to be different. So let me just say that again or a different way. If you feel stuck, then that must mean you believe there is a different path. There's something else or something missing. You sometimes have to take a step back and see, well, what is it that I need to clarify so that I don't feel stuck? What is it that I need to clarify so that I can move forward? There has to be something that causes you to think that you're being stuck, right? That you're not moving forward. What is that? Can you identify what that thing is so you can work on it and be able to move beyond it? Sometimes people, the reason they get stuck is because, and this is a big thing, you want to really understand this. A lot of times when people feel stuck is because they don't want to tackle the mundane. So what do I mean by that? Yeah, you want to be wealthy, or yeah, you want to do this, or yeah, you want to have $1 million at a certain period of time. But that's just a goal. To master the mundane is, what do you need to do? Step A, B, C, step one, two, three. What do you need to do to go from where you are right now to making $1 million, or whatever the case may be? And most people shy away from the dirty work, as I call it, the mundane. You got to get in the trenches. You got to do the dirty work in order to get to the end result. So someone will say, well, I'm not getting any results. Well, you can't pray your way to results. You got to have some activity. You can't wish your way to results. Good looks ain't going to get you there. What you have to do is just really have a detailed plan, a strategic plan to get from where you are to whatever that goal may be. It is a very conscious thing. And sometimes when people cannot trigger, conscious success, then you kind of have to trick your mind a little bit in terms of, this is what I want specifically. Okay. This is what I want specifically. I'll give you an example. I'm a big proponent of vision boards. Okay. I'm a big proponent of vision boards. Basically, what a vision board is, whether it's electronic, or I grew up in old school where I had a big white poster on my bedroom wall, and I would put all the things that I wanted to accomplish, whether it was financial things or homes or cars or this, that. And I'm just talking strictly things goals right now. And I would create that vision board. And, you would cut out a magazine, a picture of a house or a picture of a car. And, for me, I would write even more specific details on that vision board. What it does, it kind of gives you a specific target in terms of what it is that you want to accomplish. Remember, we're talking about becoming unstuck. For me, I give you a real life example. This was many years ago. I heard this song, and I'm kind of aging myself, but the Notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls, he had a song, and somewhere in that song, he talks about having this Lexus LX 4.5, right? And I heard that, and I'm jamming the Biggie, and I'm like, Lexus LX 4.5. Let me just check this out, because if Biggie got one, I want one. And so I did, and it's this big. It was. I don't even think they make them anymore. It was just like a Land Cruiser, big SUV, Lexus SUV, and I went to take a look at it, at the Lexus dealership in Atlanta, and I wanted to, just see what this whole thing was about. And when I saw it, I kind of like fell in love with this big body, Lexus, and it looked like a big tank, but it was, man, it was awesome. But I had something very specific in mind that I wanted, and so I got the little book from the Lexus dealership, and I cut out the picture of the Lexus LX 4.5, and I put it on my vision board. But the picture that I had on my vision board and the notes that I had on my vision board was a little bit different than the reality of what the Lexus dealership sold. For example, I wanted a forest green, a dark green kind of color. I wanted the gold package on it, and I wanted these, accessories on it. And that particular model did not exist. but I put it on my vision board anyway, right? Evergreen or whatever the color was, forest green, dark green, and the gold package on all the emblems and all this other kind of stuff. And so I put that very specific on my vision board. And once I was ready to get the vehicle, I went to the Lexus dealership and, talking to one of the guys, the salespeople, I'm like, look, this is what I want. I want the forest green, I want the gold package, blah, blah, blah. This guy was like, well, we don't have that color. And could you do this? And no, this is what I want specifically. It's like, well, we don't have this. And so we went back and forth for a little while. And then somewhere in the midst of the conversation, this guy realized that in getting this vehicle, I wasn't, I didn't need credit or anything. I was going to make that one payment plan, just going to write a check for this particular vehicle. And the whole mood of the conversation changed where he said, well, Mr. Orem, we don't have this, but what we can do now, mind you, I'm in Atlanta, and he was like, we have a facility in Chicago. We can do this. We can get it painted. We can hire a third party painting company to do the emblems, make it gold, so forth, the rims the way you want it, all these things. And he said, we'll get that done for you and we'll deliver it to you. And I'm like, okay, let's make it happen, right? And a few weeks later, that actual vehicle, exactly as it was on my vision board, was delivered to the crib. And I rode around with my Lexus LX 4.5, the forest green, the gold package, the rims, everything I wanted, everything that was on that vision board, they made it happen. Now, they only made it happen because I was on that one payment plan, but nevertheless, my vision board was as accurate as what was delivered to my home. Why am I sharing that to you? Because I'm sharing it to you because when you're talking about feeling stuck, when you're talking about being stuck, when you can become very specific and master the mundane, the small details, every little detail that you master toward whatever goal it is, you start to not feel so stuck because you have some level of control. This is what I want. This is why I want it. This is what I want. This is why I want it. Or this is how I want it, whatever it may be for you. But that vision board is basically an accountability in terms of you doing A, B, and C so that you don't feel so stuck. You know exactly what you need to do because you've done that through your vision board. I hope that makes sense to you guys. But then also you want to make just kind of determine what's important to you. Sometimes there's some things that are important to you. Sometimes there's some things that are not so important to you. What is important to you? So when you're talking about not being stuck, right? You have to start to live for yourself and not live for other people. See, most people live their lives to either impress or please someone else. That's what most people do. They live their lives to impress or to please someone else. That's a difficult task because we're in a society, a 5149 society, where no matter what you do, you're going to have half the people like you or like it, or half the people don't like you or don't like it. It is what it is. So what you want to do is to be able to make sure that you determine what's important to you, regardless of what somebody else may think, regardless of what someone else may feel. What's important to you. One thing that I've learned, and I learned this the hard way, is, I have to be the master of my fate, the captain of my soul, and I don't care what other people think. When I get on these podcasts or where I'm speaking or whatever I'm doing, whether it's business, no matter what it is, I'm the same person. I am who I am, right? And some people like it, some people like me, some people don't like me. But the common denominator in the middle of all that is I'm only judging my life on what's important to me. What's important to me is the empowerment of people. What's important to me is for me to be blessed so that I can be a blessing to other people. These are the things that are important to me. So when people talk about, how I may do this or say this or all this other kind of stuff, that's stuff that bug me because I'm looking at what's important to me. I share this story a lot because it's kind of funny, but it really tells the tale of what I'm talking about. I ran into this lady long time ago. I want to say it was New York, wherever it was, and this is one of those fancy. I call them. I'm a country boy, so I call them one of these highfalutin ladies. And she came up to me after a meeting or something to that effect, and she was like, you're well spoken. I really love your message. And, it was just great. I was really impacted by what you said, but I just wanted to let you know where did you get this suit from? It's just like, this is like the worst suit ever. you know, uh, why are you wearing this belt and these shoes? And I'm paraphrasing the conversation, of course. And, she just kind of went on and on and on because I had a lot of people to talk to. I just had to stop. Look, sister, let me just explain something to you. When I got up this morning and got dressed, I wasn't thinking about you. I wasn't thinking about you at all. Fact of the matter is, I don't care what you think about what I'm wearing. Just understand the message, okay? So I'm not worried about that. You're wasting my life and my time talking about how you don't like what I'm wearing. I don't care that you like it. The only person need to like what I'm wearing is me. I didn't get dressed to impress you. I didn't buy this to impress you. I bought this to make myself feel good. Now there have been times I tried to get dressed to impress somebody else, but it wasn't her. Was not you, sister. So if you listening in, I don't remember your name. I remember you, I think it was in New York, LIU, Flatbush in the cab. So if you know who you are, I wasn't getting dressed to impress you. I was getting dressed to impress myself. So let's not even talk about that. Now I'm kind of being, a little facetious in that conversation, but my point is this, guys. What's important to you? If you understand what's important to you, it's going to take some of the stress off and you won't feel so stuck. We're in a society right now where so many people they're looking at, social media and all of this glam and glitz from social media, and they're trying to imitate a lot of things that are part of social media life. We've said this before, and that social media life, for the most part, is not real. It's just not real. People are, they're creating a facade around who they are. There's a I ain't gonna call no name because I don't want to get sued, but there's somebody that it's an ugly boy, an ugly man that's I don't even know how they did it, that changed themselves through filters or whatever it is to look like a beautiful woman. And I'm saying to myself, what the heck is really going on? I'm telling you, an ugly man. This is a celebrity. That's why I ain't calling a name. But an ugly man used these filters and all of this stuff to look like a beautiful woman. Well, if that's important to them, that's important to them. But my thing is this: why am I trying to, compete with the lack of realness of social media? That stuff is not real. I don't care how many filters you use, you're still an ugly man, right? So that's just the way it is. So don't try to compete with that kind of stuff. What's important to you? Sometimes you just have to change your perspective of who you are and where you're going. What is it that you're doing? One thing that comes to mind, and this may be a little bit off topic, but a lot of times people continue. This is pretty important. People continue to prepare, to prepare, to prepare to succeed. Let me say that again. And they prepare to succeed. They never get to the point of being productive. They just continue to prepare, to succeed. I remember one of my business partners, this is back in the day when we were going out and doing business and we were meeting people and collecting business cards. And one day I he opened up his briefcase and I saw all of these business cards in his briefcase. I'm like, bro, why you got all these business cards? We're continuously collecting business cards. What are you doing? You got, hundreds of business cards in your briefcase. What are you, when are you going to talk to these people? We were continuously collecting, well, he was collecting business cards, never following up with those people. He became a professional business card collector. So I just flat out told him, hey, look, bro, don't collect. This is how we say it in the country. Nary card, not nary another card do you collect before you start to call these people. All of these cards that you've already collected, what are you doing? My point is, some people get to a point where they're always active but never productive. Why are you collecting all of these business cards and not calling these people and following up with them? Don't collect another card. Do your due diligence. See, people try to, and this is a human thing, if you will. They try to avoid pain and seek pleasure. It's pleasurable to collect these cards, but it's painful to call people, right? So they try to avoid the pain. That goes back to what I'm talking about in terms of mastering the mundane. You got to get in the trenches. You got to get your hands dirty. You got to do the grunt work in order to succeed. But that's also going to help you become unstuck. I had to make 3 phone calls just yesterday, and anybody know me know I absolutely hate the telephone. I absolutely hate the telephone. I only use it basically for business and that kind of thing, right? But I had to make 3 calls yesterday that I was very reluctant to make, just because it's like, you know how it is sometimes, you got to call, let's just say, for example, the cable company. You regret calling the cable company. They're going to put you on hold. They're going to send you all over the world, seem like they're going to do all of these things. And then when you finally speak to somebody, if you even speak to a live person, there's somebody in the Philippines and you don't understand what they're saying anyway. So a lot of times, I'm like, I just not feel like calling Sprint or T-Mobile or cable company or whatever it may be. But I had to make these calls, and sometimes your perspective on how you look at certain things cannot, maybe not even be the reality. My point is this: I made those calls and they were very simple, very quick, very easy. Something that I had put off for so long just because I didn't want to make those calls. And of the 3 calls, by the time I made the second one, I literally asked the guys, "Is that it? Is that all I need to do?" He's like, "Yeah, that's it." And I'm saying to myself, "My goodness, the total of the 3 calls couldn't have been 5 minutes, and I've been putting it off because why? I was trying to avoid pain of making a call, right? That's what we have to do sometimes. We have to just get in the trenches and do the work. We got to do the work. So you have to change your perspective on certain things. Part of changing your perspective is becoming self-aware and conscious of where you are and where you want to be. Be honest with yourself. Get in your mirror, ask yourself the hard questions. Be honest with yourself. Those questions can help you change your perspective of where you are, your perspective of where you want to be, even who you are or who you would like to be. So you have to ask yourself these hard questions. For example, you may ask yourself, how else can I look at this situation? I may be looking at this situation from a certain perspective. Remember, we're talking about changing perspective. Well, how can I maybe take a look at the same situation a little bit differently? Because sometimes when you look at the same situation from a different lens, you'll have a different perspective, and that'll give you that aha moment where you can move forward. You're not feeling stuck. Okay, so kind of ask yourself that question: how else can I see this situation from a different perspective? Or you may ask yourself, how will I feel about this situation, the same situation next week or next month or even next year? How will I feel about this situation? One thing I tell people all the time in my coaching, I'll let them know that, because a lot of people come with they call them problems. I don't, as I've said before, I don't call things problems, just challenges. But they may feel like they have these deep problems right now going on in their lives, and they're life-changing type problems. And I asked them this question, did you have problems 1 year ago? Yes. Did you have problems 5 years ago? Yes. Were those problems in a lot of cases, traumatic problems like what you're dealing with today? Yes. Can you tell me what those problems were 5 years ago? Well, I don't remember. I knew I had them, but I don't remember. Exactly. And guess what? These traumatic problems that you have today, you're not going to remember most of them 5 years from now. You're just not. See, a problem is not a problem. It is just an obstacle to get you from where you are to where you need to be. That's why I call them challenges. Okay, so what do you need to do to resolve this? Whatever this is, what do you need to do to resolve it? You'll get stuck looking at a challenge as a problem because that mindset won't allow you to move forward beyond that. And 5 years from now, as crazy and traumatic as it may seem today, you may not even remember it then. People on the verge of getting electricity turned off 5 years ago, or getting the cars repoed or whatever. Things may or may not have happened, but a lot of times you don't even remember the challenges that you had 5 years ago. So what are you going to feel about a certain situation a week from now, a month from now, a year from now? What kind of advice, if you could just be on the outside looking in, if you were advising yourself or you were advising someone else, if you were counseling someone else on your situation, what advice would you give them? What advice would you give them? I want you to think about that one real carefully, because that can be a powerful tool to help you move forward from where you are. Imagine you speaking to yourself and you're giving counsel to yourself, or you're giving counsel to someone with your exact situation. How would you advise them to move forward? In a lot of cases, that's what you would need to do to move forward. I've seen so many people that can give great and excellent advice to other people, and they're in a very similar situation and not utilizing and taking their own advice. Come outside of your comfort zone for a second so that you can become the student and the teacher. And how would you advise yourself to move forward if you were advising someone else? And I've seen people again that have great counsel in terms of other people, but those same things could apply to you. It'll help you become unstuck. All right. So you want to look at that from a different perspective. And finally, I want to talk about this. And this may seem a little bit off the wall, but it is absolutely true. Sometimes when you want to get unstuck or move forward, you just have to kind of physically move your body. You have to physically move your body. A lot of times, and I'm so guilty of this, I have a lot of back and neck and shoulder pain, and a lot of it is from tension, a lot of it is from stress, a lot of it from lack of working out, just sitting in front of a computer or whatever I'm doing, but my body starts to lock up. Okay. My back, my shoulders, massages help. I have massage chairs and massage, shoulder gadgets and all these other things. I'll have massages done, and it's temporary because my lifestyle is a high impact, high stress kind of lifestyle, right? Running multiple companies and radio stations and podcasts and all this other kind of stuff. So it's high impact, but a lot of times that takes a toll on me physically, not just the physical muscle part of the body, but that big muscle in your head called the brain. Well, you have to kind of get moving sometime to loosen your body, which will actually loosen your mindset, and it will give you that freedom to not feel so stuck. Take a walk, yoga class, do something that will allow your body and your mind to just kind of free itself a little bit. Stretch your neck, your shoulders, your arms, kind of, there's the thing now where they got uh, work desks where you can actually stand up and do your work. Get you one of those things, do whatever you need to do. But, you really have to kind of move your body as well. That's going to be extremely important for you as you continue to just kind of move from where you are, from feeling that part of being stuck. Set you some dates, milestone dates. Those dates become your accountability, and don't stress about something until it's time to stress about something. Again, I keep giving you real live examples for myself. Here it is, the end of the year. I have a lot of goals. I had a lot of goals for 2022. A lot of those goals are accomplished, but some of those goals still aren't accomplished yet. And so for me, it's like, because I have faith and because I just understand the mindset, how the mind works, even though the year is almost over, I cannot stress about what hasn't happened yet, because that would, basically say that I've given up on what I said that would happen by the last day of the year. Well, the last day of the year is not here yet, right? It's not here yet. We got a couple more days. So there's no need for me to stress about it, because I'm not in control. My creator is in control. So who knows what's going to happen over the next couple of days before the year is over. And when I set a 90-day goal, I don't continuously change those goals until that 90th day has expired. Why? Because then you won't have you don't have congruent accountability if you're changing your goals in the middle of that 90-day period. Now, I don't mean adjust, I mean change. There's a difference. You're always going to be adjusting. It's never going to be exactly as you plan it. But to change it prematurely, that can be counterproductive. So keep those things in mind. You want to, in the midst of writing these goals and writing the plans, you don't want to have what's called analysis paralysis. And that means all you're doing is analyzing the situation, but you don't move forward. You're analyzing and over analyzing and studying and over studying and doing all of these things so much that you never move. Remember, we're talking about getting unstuck. So don't develop analysis paralysis. Get to a point where you can, move forward, even if things aren't perfect. A lot of people say, well, I got to get my ducks in a row. Ducks, they're not going to be in a row. It's kind of like pushing a rope in a straight line. You're not going to push your rope in a straight line. Just start to work, build and adjust as you grow. Multiple billionaires have told me that they started their enterprises just starting, and it was a hot mess, as they call it, right? But they built and adjusted and fine-tuned and fixed and worked it out all the way, until they became self-sufficient in building a business. Well, it's not going to be perfect. So don't get into the analysis paralysis. Go to work. Identify the difference between being active and productive. Activity is basically, exercise. Cleaning off your desk and doing all this other kind of stuff, that ain't production. You got to get productive, and you want to be able to understand the difference between the two. And, so just make a decision, keep yourself accountable, know what's important to you, make those small things, small decisions that can make a big difference in your mindset. Like, deciding what's for dinner, make a decision. We do this all the time. I do it. I know you do it. You talk to somebody, what's for dinner? Where do you want to go for dinner? Where do you want to go eat? I don't know. I don't care where you want to go. I don't care where you want to go. I don't care where you. Well, somebody make a doggone decision. That's when he ain't gonna eat, right? Just make a small decision. Okay, I'm gonna eat this. This is what we're gonna have for dinner. Or this is we're gonna go for dinner. Whatever the case may be. If you're gonna looking for a job, just send out a job application. Start with one. Or if you're applying for a business loan, apply for one. You got to do one before you do 10. Just do something. Small activities create that mindset that you need. Pick up the phone and call that person that you need to call, like I had to do, just to, small victories, small decisions. And then, of course, you want to rest and recharge yourself at all times so you can focus focus on self-care, rest, relaxation, re-energizing the mind, getting those mental juices flowing. That can go a long way again toward helping you just becoming unstuck, becoming massively successful, having clarity of mind, those things that are super important in terms of you being successful. So, hey guys, look, I hope that that helped, that bit of information helped. We want to continuously build upon that. What do you need to do to get unstuck? I'm still taking recommendations for people who want to hear certain things from the podcast. I get a lot of people from our Facebook group, which is growing. Thank you guys so much in terms of what topics people want to hear, things they want to be educated on. We have a couple of four-part series that's going to be coming up real soon. I'll give you some information on that. Make sure you go to the Facebook group, the Deep Dive Podcast. You may have to type in my name, Sam Oram, and join the group. Give any suggestions, recommendations. I'm strongly encouraging everybody to go to the website, the deepdivepodcast.live. All episodes, all 3 seasons are there. Just kind of pick and choose some things that are relevant to you and your life, some things that may be able to impact your life. Please like, subscribe, download, and share these podcasts. It helps build the podcast and help build the audience. And, just makes it better for all of us. But by all means, go to the deepdivepodcast.live and just take a look at what we have going. Listen to some of the episodes. Give me some input. There's a voicemail you can leave right there on the website. Of course, you can email me. Just let me know what's going on with you, what's going on with your lives, and how we can become better at helping you become a better you. All right. So with that, guys, I thank you for joining me on another episode of the Deep Dive Podcast. Let's keep this thing going. I'm going to have another episode next Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Until then, God bless each and every one of you, and I'll see you on the beaches of the world.